There's another part to this verse. He said, present yourself as a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable, which is your reasonable service. Now, our presentation must be done in sacrifice. And it's a sacrifice that really gives us the drive to really make that difference in how we do things and get things done. You see, when we look at the book of Genesis, and in chapter number 22, the writer says about Abraham and his son Isaac. And Isaac, in fact, Abraham took his son, Isaac, as he was commanded by God, to go and sacrifice his only son. Now, that's a hard stuff. That's a hard thing to do. And let me tell you what made it difficult. God had promised Adam a son. What I said? Sorry. Abraham. God had promised Abraham a son. And Abraham, when God made that promise to him, Abraham was around 75 years old when he made that promise. When God called Abraham to sacrifice his son, Isaac was about 22 years old. So when you add it up, 75 years, he had Isaac when he was 100 years. And when Isaac was 22 years, God made the call for him to sacrifice him. So in all, when we add the figures, we're looking at about 47 years. I have waited since that promise, 47 years, and now you're telling me to go and sacrifice my son. But what we see is obedience. Let me just read a little. Let's read the first 3 verses in Genesis 22. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. And he said, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I shall tell thee. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went into the place which God had told him. The stage is set that God is now calling Abraham to sacrifice his son. Now, nowhere we see here where Abraham made a fuss. Abraham obeyed God and decided that, look, I'm going to do what the Lord asked me to do. It might be hard, but he understood who God is. He understood who he was representing. And he understood that, look, whatever God may do in taking the life of this son, God is going to compensate. And this is what we are seeing here in the picture. That God, he moves with obedience. And we see that in chapter number 4 of Romans, right? That Abraham moved with faith. But more importantly, he took his people, he took all that was necessary in order to make that burnt offering happen. So it right away tells you that Abraham was set to sacrifice his son. And to do that, and to make that happen, it takes a relationship, a deep relationship, for you to move with that type of faith. That is not something that will, if I ask you to do that, you will want to know if I am mad. And sometimes it's because of the relationship that we have tells us what I am prepared to do for you. You see, because a relationship means, or is a driving force in an individual life. You see, because what I may do for you, as we have a good and strong relationship, if the request is made from somebody else, I may be a little more hesitant. And relationship tells how I'm going to respond to you. There's no hard and fast rule to it, because some people do things for strangers, they risk their life for strangers, right? But what I'm saying is that it has to do with relationship. You see, and if we love God, we love people. And if we love people, and my action means that I'm making a sacrifice for you, is because of my relationship with me and my God. It's not because of what is, not because of you and me. It's because me and God prompts me to move in a way that will make me make a deep sacrifice for you.